Are you trying to dominate your fantasy football league? Do you want so many championship rings it's impossible to sign autographs? Well, crack open a beer, pour yourself a glass of bourbon, and settle in, because you've come to the right place. Welcome to Hammercast. Are you trying to dominate your fantasy football league? Do you want so many championship rings it's impossible to sign autographs? Well, crack open a beer, pour yourself a glass of bourbon, and settle in, because you've come to the right place. Welcome to Hammercast.
Welcome to the special edition of Double D's, a Dynasty edition, and we have look at our special guest we got. We got David, the man himself, Hammerjacks, graced us with his presence. David, how you doing?
Man, going good. It feels good to talk football again. I might not know what I'm doing, but I'll try to pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, Masters Week, you're all out of this, and then now Sam Darnold gets traded, and now we're having you come back. So what we're talking about today, and we're going to be doing it, we're looking at Dynasty value. Sam Darnold got traded. You know, Jets traded Sam Darnold to Panthers, Carolina Panthers, for a 2021 sixth round, a second, and a fourth for next year. And what we really wanted to do, and we're just going to go over overall thoughts of what you think of this trade. Just overall, when you heard it, I know I texted you, said, hey, we got to get on and talk about this, and you didn't really know. So when you saw it, what was your big first glances at this big trade?
I'm excited because I'm a truther for Sam Darnold. And I just, the funny thing is I was just recently reviewing the PFF 2020 offensive line grades, and I discovered just how bad that Jets offensive line was. And I believe that Sam Darnold with a strong offensive line. Now Carolina, don't get me wrong, they were ranked 18th, but the Jets were 30th. But some of the categories that were important to Sam, they were dead last. Yeah. And so I got excited, and then I think about Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and who I think they're going to take at 1-8. I'm pumped up because I think this is going to give Sam a chance to show what he can really do, and I think it's a lot better culture than what he's going to come from the Jets.
Yeah, I think culture is a big thing. Everybody out there knows I wrote a 15,000 word piece on Sam Darnold, and you're just looking at what he's going around him. I love this spot for him. I like where he's at. I love what he has around him. His best weapons probably were Juju and Ronald Jones in 2016 at USC that he's played with. He hasn't had stuff like that. Ronald Jones is the best running back he's ever played with. Now he goes to CMC. That is a complete change. Coaching staff. This is his best coaching staff he's ever gone to.
Absolutely.
So I love it.
You know what people forget? He's still 23 years old.
Yeah.
He's 6'5", 225 pounds. He's athletic. He's only 20. In June, he'll be 24 years old. Yeah. And so this is a fresh start for him. I think I think you're going to need plastic surgery to get the smile off of his face. I honestly believe that he's probably the happiest one of everybody.
Yeah, and he's had I think it's 4 different offensive coordinators, systems. Everything's just been a kind of a mess for him. So I hope, and overall thoughts for me initially was like, hey, this is great for him. He's got to step in. I don't know what they're going to do with Teddy. Maybe they have to compete. That's good. But there's no more excuses for Sam. I'm not making any more excuses. He's got to do this now. He has the talent. Is he going to be able to fit in that system? I think he can. I think with the RPO system that they run, Brady and Rule, I think it will be a good fit. I don't think they're going to ask him to do too much around. I love this for Darnold, but I think with that system in place with Brady, I think that he finally has a good offensive coach.
Well, I love it, and I agree with that. And Brady knows how to use those running backs to the quarterback to the running back. Christian McCaffrey's probably going to complete 100 passes for between 700 and 1,000 yards himself for Sam, which is something he's never had the pleasure of because he had nothing in New York. And no offense to Frank Gore. I mean, Frank Gore is, legendary, but they just, and Bell, he just collecting a check. So I think that I honestly do not think there could have been a better situation for him. And I'm not sure what they're going to do at Bridgewater. I think they brought in Darnold to be the starter.
Yeah, no, I agree. What do you think? So let's look at it from a Panthers outlook, just like dynasty wise. I think it really helps everybody around. I know that I had tweeted out Darnold's been a buy for me for a while. If he's a buy now, you're an idiot. You don't know how to play dynasty. But he's been a guy that I've been going after in the past. And I mean, last year there were some trades for him that were going down in the offseason. He got traded for Drew Brees in October. That looks like a smart deal now, especially for how Brees ended the season and with him retiring. And then he got traded for Phillip Rivers. So, like, you could have bought Darnold for a lot cheaper. You obviously can't do that now. What are your thoughts on Darnold's value? Are you going to, like, go buy him today? Not today, but let's say towards the end of the middle of, like, off season. Would you give up a first in a super flex league? Where are you at with Darnold?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to buy any of him because I already own all of him. I mean, I couldn't sell him. And so I said, well, I'm going to hold him because I still believe it at 23, his size, his pedigree, in the situation that you know very much. I believe you know more about Sam Darnold than anybody in the industry. And I read everything you do. And so I bought in and I bought a lot of Darnold and I got him for nothing. Yeah. And so if I do anything, I'm taking advantage and selling them when I have a chance or holding them where I want. As far as if I had to make a move and I wanted to pick him up, I would give up a second half of a first rounder. Wouldn't you?
Yeah. With the quarterback landscape where it's at, I think that if you needed a quarterback and you felt comfortable about his weapons, I'd feel comfortable with that in the second half. Probably nothing higher than a 107-ish, probably 108.
That's not where I was at.
Yeah, that's probably where I go. This is an interesting question, and we might as well get to it. We might have some fun with it. Who would you rather have, Sam Darnold or Carson Wentz going forward? Who do you think is a better fit in fantasy? Because that's a tough question, right? I would go Darnold.
It's a very tough question. It puts me on a spot because you know my love for Jonathan Taylor. Yes. And I do believe the Colts, they have even a better offensive line. And so although Darnold's offensive line improves substantially, Wentz is going to finally be able to do something pretty good with his offensive line and a much better running game. And I'm not saying that Taylor's light years ahead of Miles Sanders, but I believe he's better in every facet of the game. And so I believe that even though Darnold has improved weapons, improved offensive line, improved culture, part of me is really on Wentz still. I like Wentz. I like him a lot better than if he was still in Philly, I'd be all over Darnold.
Yeah, I think I like the weapons in Carolina a little bit more than I like in the Minneapolis. So I know you're a Jonathan Taylor guy. I mean, CMC is another weapon idea there.
He is the alpha dog. He is. I get it.
Yeah. So he has that, and then I just think the receivers. I love DJ Moore. He's a wide receiver one in my eyes. So when you look at Indianapolis, Pittman's there, T.Y. Hilton, who's always hurts there. My boy Paris Campbell's there. I feel like they have more weapons around Darnold.
The biggest difference for me is I like the weapons better for Carolina than I do, but the offensive line is the biggest thing for me.
That's fair. No, that's a fair point, right? That's the kind of where we're at there. I agree. I think they're very close, but I think you have to pay a little bit more for Wentz, if that's fair. I think maybe not right now, but you're going to have to.
Absolutely, even right now, I believe. I don't believe a lot of people feel the same way we do. When it comes to Darnold, and we've even got people on our own network chat room laughing that it's going to be a dual quarterback system. Yeah, and I don't see that at all either.
Yeah, I'm cool being the outlier. That's kind of how we roll things out here. But
I can take it.
When you're looking at Panthers, so I mean, CMC is obviously he's a buy. But what do you think this does for the receiving core? I know some people have already made jokes about poor Robbie. He's back with Darnold. Robbie did have a resurgent year last year. DJ Moore. Do you think their value goes up, middle, down? Where do you think with those guys?
I think it's going to go up. I just think he's a fundamentally strong quarterback that just needs a chance in a good system. And like you said, Joe Brady, everything he does turns to gold, and he has the performance to prove it. And so I believe what he's going to be able to do with Sam and those weapons is going to be significantly better than what we saw last year. And I think Robbie Anderson is going to benefit even more. But DJ Moore is going to by far be the alpha dog. I love DJ Moore in this situation.
And I actually think Robbie Anderson's a sneaky buy still, because I think that some people are going to say, oh, look what he did. Oh, now he's got Darnold. He's going to be worse, which I think is kind of a lazy analysis and a lazy kind of analysis when we look at it. And he recently just went, before this trade went down, Robbie Anderson went for Christian Kirk and Hayden Hurst. At this point in their careers, as much as I love Kirk, and I know me and Kirk, you guys had Kirk, we kind of talked about him last season. I like Robbie Anderson in that mindset, right?
Yeah, Kirk and I are having a little bit of it's complicated in our relationship.
Yeah. I think every dynasty manager out there is having a little bit of a complicated relationship with him, but I think that he is a sneaky buy. I think that offense is better, and I think he's fundamentally better than Teddy Bridgewater. So to me, Darnold is an improved option. So I don't see their value getting any worse there. Do you think they go after Pitts with their 8th pick?
If he's there, it's slam dunk.
Yeah.
That's the only weakness I see on that offense is I don't think Ian Thomas is the guy. I don't think Dan Arnold is the guy.
Oh, poor Dan. Dan won me a lot of money in prop bets. I love you, Dan, but no, you are not.
He did, because he had one catch for
one
9
catch,
yards.
baby. One catch.
I love that. That's from the Just the Tip show.
Yep.
I believe that would be their best move by far. Either that or, I mean, you got to remember, in free agency they went out and got 2 new guards and another tackle.
Yeah.
And improved on that offensive line. And a lot of people are forgetting that. But boy, the idea of having Pitts with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson and Christian McCaffrey in a fundamentally strong armed quarterback with a Joe Brady. Yeah, I'm all in.
Yeah, no, I think that would be an amazing move. I know that there's been jokes about, hey, their offensive line, but like we mentioned, they added some pieces. I think that they can. There's depth at the tackle and guard spot at the beginning of the second. So I've been really big in draft Twitter for some reason this year, but I've been really big on these prospects. There is some solid depth at the guard and tackle positions in that top of the second. Once you get past where Panthers are at, there's not that much depth, but there is some depth at the beginning. So I could see them taking Pitts and going after. I would love that spot. That spot would be absolutely phenomenal.
Well, let's quickly go through this real quick exercise. I'm sure you already have them memorized. So quarterbacks are going what, 1, 2, 3?
I would say quarterbacks definitely going 1, 2, 3, and if there's going to be a trade up, I could see the first 4 picks being quarterback.
Okay, and then you got 5th and 6th and 7th, 3 more picks. You think Pitts is going to be available at 1-8? Based on who's there?
I think they could be. So, it really depends. So the 5th pick's a nerve-wracking pick because the Bengals. Who are the Bengals going to take? I know they're kind of falling in love with. They have to take an offensive lineman.
They do.
I can't see them not taking an offensive lineman. But if they do, they could take Chase or they could take Pitts. I don't see them doing that. I think they are going to go offensive lineman. So there's Pitts. He moves. And then the Dolphins, I think, are the team I could see maybe grabbing Pitts.
What? They love
they love Chase, but let's say Chase goes. Let's say Chase isn't there. They're going to take the next best player available on the offensive side, which would be Pitts.
But Miami have their own Pitts right now at tight end.
Oh, no, they don't. Stop it. Oh, this is where Twitter's going to go off on you right now. Mike Gesicki is not I think that with Pitts, though, I think they're going to use Pitts on the outside and flex. They can put him in multiple versatile positions. I think they could go there. Really, the key is Detroit. I don't know what the hell they're going to do because they could go offensive line, defensive back, linebacker. They could really go anywhere. So I think it really falls in those categories.
Yeah, Detroit, you never know what they're going to do.
No, you never know.
They're the wild card. They'll probably trade that pick.
They could, and I could see that. And maybe someone moves up for Pitts, but I would love that pick. I think that when we talk about like the offensive line, I know it's important. Trust me, I get it. But there is some options for them in that second round that they could go after if it's there. So I agree there. Really quick on the Jets? Did you like this move for the Jets?
Well, I mean, I think they pretty much choreographed that they were going to go with a quarterback anyway, and so I think they actually got pretty good value because everybody knew they didn't want Darnold, and that's just a dumb organization if you ask me. They did good. They did good considering the situation that they were in, and they got some value. And so, those 2 picks next year that were more valuable than what they got this year. But they got value. They're going to get their quarterback. I don't know. I'm guessing it's going to be Zach Wilson, which I don't like because I've got the first pick in our Devy league, and I was going to take Zach Wilson, and he's going to be behind that terrible offensive line with no running game, and so I'm going to be miserable from that. But I think it's definitely going to hurt their receivers. I think it's I think it's another year of possibly 2, maybe 3, 4, or 5 wins at the most.
Yeah, I think it's a good return for what they needed. I think, getting the second, obviously second and fourth next year, 6th-round pick this year, that's pretty good value for a guy that some people have kind of thrown off. I really wish it was Fields. Actually, no, I like Fields too much for him to go to the Jets.
That's the way I feel.
I still think Mike LaFleur there, and they're bringing that offensive system from San Francisco. They're going to run. They're going to figure out that run game. They got to draft a running back. They're going to get some guys in there. I don't hate the spot. I think that they're going to get their quarterback. I think it was they needed to both move on. Sam's got to get his new step. The Jets need to get their new kind of, hey, it's like a breakup. It's time let's move on. Let's separate. I do think for the positional players on the Jets, okay, I saw this interesting question recently on social media. Who would you rather have, Corey Davis or Denzel Mims in Dynasty?
I look at it talent-wise. I would rather have Mims.
Okay.
That's just me. I love Denzel Mims. I believe in him. I believe in his size. I believe in his metrics. Once again, he got drafted by the Jets.
Yeah.
And Corey Davis, he's been woefully below average all but one season.
Yeah.
And last season was different. And even then it wasn't like he played great last year for him. But I think for future I'll take Denzel still.
Corey Davis got I would take Denzel too, based on what my prospects and what my projections of what he's going to do next year. Corey Davis, though, his value is up. So if we're talking about dynasty perspective, like we always do, this will help his dynasty value. He just got traded for Odell Beckham Jr.
What?
If you don't like Odell, oh well. I mean, at that point, that value is a little bit too good. I would take Odell. I would shop Corey Davis around right now because Corey Davis can get some nice returns. He traded for a 2nd-round pick. I would give up a second probably for Corey Davis because I think Mims is going to be there. I'm actually a big believer in Chris Herndon. I'm on the Herndon train, baby. Back again. I fell off of it a couple of years ago. I do think that this will help his value as well. So this could be a time where you start shipping some of these guys.
What is it with you and those Miami guys?
Hey, man, tight end Miami Hurricanes, all right? Give me Brevin Jordan and Chris Herndon all day. But I do think Herndon can solidify himself there. And, Herndon's going for mid-second. If you're comfortable with maybe moving him, his value is going to uptick. It's one of those weird things where I actually would keep the Panthers guys, and this might be a shot for you to maybe unload some of these Jets guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of how it goes. Any final thoughts about these guys?
No, I'm looking forward to training camp. I'm actually really looking forward to the draft because I don't know if Carolina's done making moves. Usually a big move like this is followed by a couple other smaller moves, and it wouldn't shock me to see Teddy go somewhere else.
That's the other part. We didn't really mention that. Teddy, is he I have Teddy in a couple of my rosters. Is he someone that you think it can be rosterable? I mean, with the landscape of the way it is, I mean, for example, if you're a Bears fan, would you rather have Teddy or Dalton? I'd rather have Teddy, to be completely honest.
Absolutely. I mean, he put up some damn good numbers last year.
Yeah.
And so, I can't believe the Bears, man. The Bears fans, they gotta be miserable, man. Wow.
Especially now that Teddy's available, right? I mean, or hey, for example, another landing spot for Teddy could have been, what about Denver? Maybe they take a shot and they say, you know what, we'll bring Teddy in and he'll compete with Locke and we'll see which one can actually lead us there.
I could see that too. I could definitely see that. I like Drew Lock still too.
I do too. So that's why I think they're going to go that way. But I could see them bringing in that guy and getting into that. So Yeah, sorry. I am getting sassy. I'm not a big Teddy guy. I've never been a big Teddy Bridgewater guy, but I do think he's better than some of these other starters out there. Dalton and, all these different groups. Drew Lock maybe competing and getting these spots. And so I think Teddy does have some value, but if you have him, you're holding and you're hoping he goes somewhere else. You probably should have been trying to get rid of him. It was almost damn near impossible. Trust me, I know. I tried it and it didn't work. But, you can go with those guys. I love this for Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is my guy. I think that this is an excellent deal.
But he gets 1 year, one shot.
Yeah.
He's got to prove it now. He's got a better offensive line, a better culture, better weapons, no excuses. If he's healthy, he's got to produce.
Yeah, there's no more time. Yeah, I can't. There's no more. I can't be a truther anymore, Darnold. After this year, if you don't do anything, there's nothing.
Right. You just have to take your loss.
You have the talent. You have the ability now to go step it up. And then but for you. What do we, just a spitballing here? What do we think is a good season for him? Because they picked up his 5th-year option. They got to re-sign him, right? So, playoffs are bust for him, or just improved, 8 wins or 9, whatever the hell it is now, because the NFL changes the game.
You know what I want to see? I want to see him play 15 games. Okay, yeah. He's never done it. He's never played more than 13, and so I want to see him play 15 games, and I want to see 25 touchdowns.
Okay.
That's what I want to see. I want to see maybe in the 3,000 yard range, 25 touchdowns, first year with a new team, new culture. I think those are definitely attainable, and I think he could actually surpass those in Joe Brady's scheme. And so, but that's what he's going to need to see first year for me.
I think he's a very solid QB2 option. And I think that if he's your QB2 in a super flex league, I think you can feel comfortable. If he's a QB3, you're definitely feeling comfortable, which you could have bought him at. So,
right.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on, David. I know you're a busy man with Masters Week and golf and stuff, but anytime you can grace us with your presence in football, we appreciate it. So
you got a direct line to the bat phone, man. You call me anytime and you know I'll be there for you.
Yep. So I appreciate you coming on. Everybody out there listening, hey, go to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. If you like what you hear, let us know what you think, and we appreciate you guys. So thanks for coming on, David.
You got it, man. Thanks.
Did you get all that? If not, make sure you head over to hammercast.com, subscribe, and join the Hammer Nation. Until next time, keep grinding. Did you get all that? If not, make sure you head over to hammercast.com, subscribe, and join the Hammer Nation. Until next time, keep grinding.